Good morning, everybody. I am a little bit late to the party, but the Eruptor is finally buffed. Shrapnel is back, and the Shrapnel now uses frag grenade shrapnel. So, for those who didn't know and weren't in the loop, the shrapnel that was used by the Eruptor when it originally launched in its first state that everybody loved to death was the airburst shrapnel, which is probably why it was so devastating and had edge cases where it could just kill a charger in one hit. So they're giving it extra shrapnel and extra explosion radius. And this is also good because the Eruptor, in its current state, like how it works, minus its damage, it's a very slow firing gun that takes a lot of time to put down that one shot. The problem is in the current build, that one shot isn't that great. You're better off using a Jar Dominator or anything else. Yes, it has a scope on it. Yes, you can aim it really far, but the best you would get was like a couple little dudes is splash. It was pretty lackluster. So these changes are going to make it so that the Eruptor basically shoots frag grenades at this point. I mean, seriously, if it uses frag grenade shrapnel, shrapnel's back, and it's bigger, it's just a frag grenade bolt action, which sounds absolutely hilarious. So I'm actually going to check this out because I have not seen this video yet because I am very slow this morning.
My name is Johan Pilestedt.
And I'm Niklas Manborg.
Today we're diving into the patch notes of Helldivers 2. Nobody asked for it, but we did it anyways. And that is the Eruptor.
Yes.
Nobody asked for it.
Back.
Yeah, we finally had time to do it properly. When it was introduced, it actually had the wrong shrapnel. It did over 9,000 in damage.
It's over.
Now it won't do that much, but it still has a lot of shrapnel.
Did you remove the explosion?
No.
So it's explosion and shrapnel.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I will say though, having the quote wrong shrapnel is just basically like the gun wasn't completely finished at that point, because if you put something out in a live game and you're like, oopsie, it just had the nuclear bomb attached to the round, we didn't know. It's like, okay, who's in charge of making sure this went live? Like, it's almost like somebody was working on the Eruptor off in the background somewhere, and they're like, hey, is that Eruptor done? They're like, yeah, it's done. And they just throw it in. But this is definitely a lot more polished, and this is a good middle ground because nobody wants the current Eruptor, and anybody who uses it, myself included, I've used it in random loadouts, I've tried to use it in particularly decent loadouts, it's just not effective or rewarding because there's just that little bit of splash is not worth the entire time it takes to bolt and refire the gun. Also, on the flip side, Airburst Shrapnel Launch Eruptor was stupid OP, but stupid fun to team kill with. I think this middle ground where it uses the frag grenade element is going to be the sweet spot, and it's going to cause some team kills. It's going to cause a lot of friendly fire damage. If the explosive radius is bigger, remember that it's also going to be a knockback radius for other Helldivers, which was part of the risk versus reward using the gun. Really excited to actually get my hands on this because right now I don't enjoy using the Eruptor. Even if I try to use it in a fixed loadout or I'm using hd2random.com to generate loadouts, every time I end up with the Eruptor in my hands in the current build, I'm just sad. I'm like, this is like not a fun gun to use. Really gonna dig deep into this because I use the counter sniper diligence a lot on bots, and I'll use other guns to deal with hulks and gunships and whatnot, and sometimes even using my HMG to deal with small targets. It would be nice to drop the counter sniper diligence to pick up an Eruptor and see what that does against bots. To deal with small enemies and deal with, occasional precision devastator shots. Really, really excited to see where that goes. Really excited to hop on, try that out. And it's only in a few more days. So I am going to get to posting all of the stuff that happened yesterday. I'm going to hop on, try and work more on getting some orbital napalm unlocked, and wait for whatever comes next, because that's day number 5, which means we should have an update on the 15th and the 16th. before we get the full patch notes, so I'm not really sure what else they're going to cover. The Eruptor was the big one I was waiting for 2 days, and we finally got it. I haven't checked any other news, so I will poke around the Reddit and see if anything else is going on and talk about that tomorrow, and I'll see you guys soon.